Hello! Quite a delay there, wasn't it? We had a black screen for a while, but we're here. Welcome back to our Team Lotus F1 Manager Series. And it is Friday. The weekend is here. First full week for many back at work, school, college, or anything else. The weekend is here, and we're back with another live stream of this Team Lotus Series. Lucas, hi buddy, how's it going? Hope you're well. And it's the second race of this 2026 season. So the third race of the third season in this series, the second race in that season. So last time out in Australia, it was a 1-2 and pretty dominant. We have made some changes in terms of trying to help the AI develop their cars better. So it may not come to fruition in this race, but I think they have made some leaps and improvement because I don't want to be dominating races. I want it to be challenging. So in the second episode of this series, which will come out with the highlights of this video, it will go through what we're using to actually help the AI develop their car so they can close the gap and maybe jump us. So I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to mix the grid up as well. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But it is going to be Ricciardo on pole here in China and Alonso in second. Strategy in terms of number of pit stops is going to be the same. It's a two-stopper for both of them, but slightly different. Ricciardo starting on the softs. Alonso starting on the mediums. Middle stint for Ricciardo is mediums. Finish on the mediums. Alonso switching to the softs, then the mediums. Forza Ferrari 1-2. 1-2 indeed. Yes, good to hear, Lucas. You've secretly disabled the AI being able to develop their car. No, that's exactly what we don't want. We want them to develop their car. So, as I say, all will be revealed if you're watching these episodes on YouTube. You'll see the formula that we're using to help the AI develop their car. But it's basically using the editor tool. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think. I think it's going to be interesting. But as I say, we may not see results from today's race, but certainly as the series goes on, we will. Oh, yes, Lando. Yes, I do remember, buddy. Hope you're doing well. But anyway, starting first then with Ricciardo, second with Alonso here in China. Let's get underway with the race and see how we go. Crazy Kai, good to have you back, buddy. How you doing? Yes, we're 1-2, starting the 2026 season. Very strong indeed.
Well, it's great to have
this is only the second race of the third season, but it's been the norm for those first two races.
The composure of Fernando Alonso.
Can we finish 1-2? We achieved a 1-2 in Melbourne, but Oscar Piastri was challenging us quite heavy in that race. How do we go here in China? We've got 4 lights, 5.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
We're underway then. Ricciardo from pole. Alonso in second. Alonso trying to challenge his teammate here. And he's got Piastri, who, as I said, was fighting us last time out in Australia. Is he going to do the same here today? We get away nicely then. Ricciardo maintains P1. Alonso maintains P2. And let's just have a look at the tyres then. So Ricciardo starting on the softs, as we said. Alonso mediums, Piastri mediums, Tsunoda on the hard. Tsunoda in P4. The RB's going really well. Tsunoda P4. Hulkenberg P7. And the Red Bull's struggling in this 2026 season. As in normal to have 1-2s. Yeah, as I say, Crazy Car, this is the second 1-2 we've had. So this is only the second race 2026. So yeah, at the moment, it's looking good. Right, Ricciardo needs to be on standard. I think we can go on standard here.
And try to cool down the tires while you can. It's slightly coming up.
Yeah.
We don't need to push too aggressively here.
So really focus on cooling tyres.
Okay.
What's the standings? Winning, like you said, for last season. We didn't win last. So last season it was Bottas and Mercedes who were the fastest car. We've only done one race so far this season, and we look to be the fastest car. Then probably McLaren, and then RB and Mercedes. Really, I would say.
P2.
Forza had a glitch, so I had to follow again. No worries, thanks for following again, buddy.
Gap at 0.5.
Sam, hi buddy, how's it going?
Piastri.
I've started that season with Minardi that was talked about last hour. Let's not talk about results. Come on, Sam, share the results. Brilliant 1-2. Hopefully we can finish that way. Let's hope so. Lucas, can you secretly give Yuki the fastest car so he wins all the races? Well, to be fair, he might have the second fastest car. He's in P4 today. Can Yuki Tsunoda claim a podium here in China today? Let's wait and see. Dallas, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated, buddy. But yeah, we have sorted the colour scheme out on the car, sorry. So it was a little bit more orangey, a taint of orange, so I've tried to get that a little bit better looking in terms of gold. Bryce, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Samuel Dixon, 21 and a Ricciardo. The only way is up from there, Sam. But yeah, some strugglers here. Leclerc down in 15th. I think he was knocked out in Q1, actually. I didn't see what happened to him, but he's knocked out in Q1. And Verstappen was knocked out in Q2, started 12th. But it looks like Sainz has gone backwards from the start. Is Fernando going to have a go on his teammate here? Got a yellow flag. And we've got a red flag.
Okay, red flag.
We've got a red flag. Oh my god, what's happened to the back here? We've got a 3-car collision. Please give us a replay. Bortoletto, is he just going to be a passenger in this? Oh, that is one hell of a smash. No, Bortoletto couldn't do anything. Wow.
And look at the team there. They all knew what that moment meant.
I think it was the Aston just forgot where the brake pedal was. K-Mag. Of course it's K-Mag. That is what you call a 3-car pile-up. K-Mag absolutely wrecking people's races here. Right, so what do we do here? I mean, it's very early on, isn't it? It's only 4 laps. What have we got? 90% are fitted, 89. Yeah, we may as well stay with what we've got, to be fair. Same with Alonso, because if not, it just means going on to a different compound, and we don't want to do that. I love the F2 cars in F1 24.
The restart is moments away.
So we'll do it all again.
Continues.
5 lights again here in China.
It's lights out.
We're back underway.
Away we go.
Ricciardo again from P1. Alonso back behind him in P2, but Oscar looks like he's alongside Alonso this time, but you do get that inside. It's a long banking corner, and Magnussen gets a 10-second time penalty for a major collision, which will result in a grid penalty next race. So it was in to Fittipaldi in the Audi and Fittipaldi into Bortoletto, so 3 cars out on that lap. As we have got plenty of surplus fuel now as well.
We will not need lift.
My drivers are Ollie Behrman and Liam Lawson. Lawson with retirement after a lockup and 25 seconds back with 12 to go. Hard work, Sam, hard work. What a surprise, and Aston not breaking into the corner at China. Yes, very Lance Stroll-esque there from K-Mag. Use energy, yeah, deployment is on again. And if you're jumping into the streams, like the content, please do smash a like on the video. It really does help me out. And I've just seen the RBs then are now 4th and 5th. Hulkenberg up to 5th. He started 8th. Leclerc still in 15th. Really struggling in that Ferrari. But yeah, as I say, we are going to help the AI. We don't want to dominate. So essentially what we're using, and as I say, I showcase it in this episode, which will be released on YouTube shortly. But we are using a very technical way of doing that. We're not. It's not technical at all. We're using basically a random generator. And what I'm going to do at certain phases of the year, as we get in real Formula 1, the teams will bring upgrade packages. So at certain stages, we're going to see what the upgrade packages are for each team. So I'm going to go for each team. We'll generate using a random generator. There's 5 different options. There's no update, there's a minor update, standard update, major update and a mega update. Depending on that, what we draw for that team will then mean we go into the database editor and we change the values of their parts to increase them. So obviously a mega, we change them by quite a bit. Minor a little. No, if they get no, they don't change at all. So that's going to bring the grid a lot closer to us. Hopefully that some of them might overtake us, so it'll give us a challenge, but also it'll mix the grid up a bit. But we haven't done that for RB. They've just, through the 2026 season here, they have just started the year with a better car than a lot of the grid, which is good to see. Ricciardo then has built a gap of 1.4 on Fernando Alonso. We can keep the fuel on there. So did anyone change tyres? I don't think anyone did, unless these are attacking. Yeah, I think Hulkenberg and Russell might have. Those in the 90% here probably did change tyres. Why does the Hulk always go to RB? No idea.
Your last lap was purple.
Ricciardo setting the fastest lap of the race, and Perez is always sacked from Red Bull, yeah. Although that's probably accurate now, isn't it? And Perez down in 19th for Williams. And Marlon, thanks for the gift. Much appreciated. Thanks, buddy. But Paul Bortoletto there, in only his second race in Formula 1, has absolutely been, had his race ruined by K-Mag, as well as Fittipaldi in his second race in Formula 1. No problem. Cheers, buddy. No, really do appreciate it. And Lawson, obviously, who was in our team last year, he's in that Alpine. Tsunoda looks like he's challenging us. Can Tsunoda get a podium here today? Bryce McKenzie, thanks for the gift. Much appreciated, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Sam Bottas struggling compared to last season where he's flying. Yeah, he is. He is. Down in 9th. It's hard to tell when we get this DRS train what car has the pace. But I tell you what, Yuki Tsunoda ain't looking bad, is he? He's on the hard tyres. Here he comes. Yuki Tsunoda is on the podium as it stands. That RB is pretty quick this year. Bryce, of course, I appreciate your content, so sending what I can as a thanks. Thanks, buddy. Really do appreciate it. Not required, but it is certainly appreciated, buddy. Thanks a lot. And Tsunoda's into the DRS of Fernando Alonso here. He's on the hard tyres. He is pushing those hards quite hard. Pardon the pun. And Carlos replaced Perez at Red Bull. I would have loved to have seen that in real life, wouldn't we? Verstappen and Sainz in the Red Bull. Ooh, that'd be tasty. That would be tasty indeed. Who knows what Lawson can do there, but I'm not convinced Lawson can put up a fight against Max. I don't think many drivers can, but we shall see. Piastri's dropped 2 seconds off the pace now from Yuki. As Yuki is certainly attacking on those hards. He is indeed pushing them hards hard. He's pushing those hards hard. It's just dropped off momentarily. So Alonso's 2.4 seconds back on Ricciardo. Obviously, there is a tyre difference here, though. Ricciardo being on the softs, Alonso on the medium, and Tsunoda on the hard. So 3 different compounds in the top 3. And, of course, the other positive of being at another weekend, it's another 10 days into January, and we get ever closer to the actual, in real life, 2025 season. So, yeah, another month, and we'll start to see liveries. Then we'll be into testing, and then we'll be back into race weekends, which I can't wait for. I think it's going to be a pretty tasty season, very close.
You're doing good time management.
I'd like to see Sainz at Red Bull, but Horner was never going to sign someone who was going to challenge for wins in the championship. Yeah, that's what I mean. They want someone who can do enough to get, you know, enough points to challenge for the constructors, but they don't want, you know, them fighting with Max. Want to avoid a Rosberg and Hamilton situation. And that's why McLaren have got a bit of a challenge on their hand. You know, it got a little bit like that this year with Piastri having to help Lando out. But of course, if Piastri can win the World Drivers' Championship and Lando can, that's going to be very interesting. And I think McLaren will have the car to do it. Frankie, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. And I think there's two teams that might have that situation. Ferrari, if they've got a car that can win the championship this year, then that could be an interesting battle between Hamilton and Leclerc. But I think it's going to be hard for Lewis, to be fair, or moving to a new team, getting used to that team. But also, he's against someone like Charles, who's been in that team for a long time. He's used to the car, he's used to the environment. So I'd be surprised, to be fair, if Lewis beat him in that first season at least, but we shall see. But if Ferrari have got a good car, that teammate battle could be interesting. If McLaren and Piastri is consistent, Piastri against Lando would be interesting. Red Bull, I just don't see Lawson being able to challenge Max. And Mercedes, it's a bit of an unknown, isn't it? We know what George can do, but we don't really know what Kimi can do. So Danny Rick in this one, though, starts lap 10. It's a lead of 2.6 over Fernando Alonso. So just looking at the strategy, Ricciardo is due to pit lap 18, Alonso lap 22, and he's now got 3.5 over Yuki Tsunoda here. They want a consistent podium scorer, not a championship contender. Yeah, exactly. Compared to last season, which drivers and constructors have improved and which have flopped, in your opinion? In-game, I'm assuming, Sam? If you mean in-game, then compared to last season, which drivers and constructors have improved and which have flopped, in your opinion? Well, I'd certainly say RB if we're talking in-game. I'd definitely say RB. I think Williams have improved. Williams seem to have improved. Red Bull have definitely gone backwards. Red Bull are struggling. Kick Sauber, that obviously now Audi, they're about the same, which should sort of bring up the rear. So I think the main ones that have probably improved is RB and Williams. RB have improved a lot, whereas they might be the second fastest car behind us. McLaren is still there. They were between second and fastest last year, and they're still about that pace. Mercedes have obviously dropped off. They were the quickest car. They're probably down to about the fourth quickest car. But yeah, it's only the second race of the season, so it depends how they update the cars. Kimi seems good and fast, but he's 18, has very little experience, so I'd expect him to crash a bit at the start. Yeah, the odd thing with Kimi Antonelli is, as I always say, I think you've got to give rookies at least 2 years, unless obviously in the first year it's completely obvious they're not going to make it. But I think you really need to give them 2 years, a year to get used to it, and then the second year you should see the best of them. Obviously, there's exceptions to that. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton in the first years. As we've got a yellow flag, which is cleared. And it's Liam Lawson.
Okay, so
our old driver.
Turn one here.
Stuck at the back of the field now in an Alpine.
And there goes the steering. And
he's had a big old lock-up.
Passenger.
I think he may be bringing up the rear now. He is indeed. But yeah, the interesting thing about Kimi is they're not essentially giving him that time because he's only got a 1-year contract. Because I think Mercedes are very interested in seeing if they can get Max Verstappen for 2026. George's contract up at the end of 2025 as well. So I wonder if it's a direct fight between Kimi and George to keep that seat for the following year. So that's going to be interesting. Frankie, any tips on getting a better car in game? If you've got no regulation changes, then design the car. Underfloors are pretty OP if you crank up high speed, low speed, and medium speed. Main thing really to develop the car, if you focus on the cornering speed first of all. But as I say, if you've got no regulation changes, design work all the way. And then where you've got regulation changes, just focus on researching the parts that are affected by the regulation changes. If you head over to Frankie, and you're watching on TikTok, yeah, so if you head over to my profile, YouTube link is in the bio. I do have a YouTube video on that. If you go to the playlists, there's F1 Manager tips and guides And you'll find one on development, so check that one out. Williams the GOAT. To make it fair next year, Williams should be able to use the W11 for the whole season. Unless he gets a win or two, he would probably go to Red Bull to replace Verstappen if he does go to Merc. Yeah. Yeah, I think Max is just waiting to see, really, isn't he, what Red Bull do this year. But it's still interesting because 2026 is an unknown. But, of course, Verstappen being in the team will know what they're cooking up for 2026. Right, let's have a look then. Lap 12. Ricciardo leads, 3 seconds to Alonso, but can Alonso challenge his teammate? Because, of course, they're on different compounds here. I'm expecting Ricciardo lap 18. Tsunoda's dropped 5 seconds back, but he is on the hards. Piastri right with Tsunoda. They're still very close here, isn't it, really, to be fair? It's, what, 2 seconds, 3.3, 4, 5... It's 5 seconds, really, from Tsunoda down to Hamilton, down to Verstappen. So 3rd to 9th, very close here. And Verstappen's got up to the top 10 now. And Verstappen may be nursing his tyres a little bit. So Ricciardo might be the first to stop here. Just looking, 60% on his sauce. As Gasly's developed a fault. Yeah, I think Danny Rick will be the first to box. Martin, why did Lawson leave? We just kind of spiced up the series, really, Martin. Alonso became a free agent for some reason. Aston Martin decided not to renew his deal. He wasn't retiring. They kept K-Mag, who got 1 point for them. Alonso got 49 points from last year. So for some reason, they retained K-Mag. And they went with signing Alex Albon, who had no drive last year. So they brought Albon back. Didn't renew Alonso's contract. So because he's a free agent, we thought we'd sign him up on a year deal. So Lawson unlucky to be dismissed. But because of Ricciardo's performance last year, we couldn't get rid of him. So yeah, we decided to take a punt on Alonso. They've both only got 1 year with us. And we'll probably go for a young driver pairing next year. Hopefully we can win the championship this year. And then, yeah, if we want to do a 4th year in this series, then we'll go for a fresh young partnership for next year. If Max would go to any team, it would be Aston because they have Newey Honda engine, Alonso's teammate, and Daddy Stroll make a new factory. Yeah. Yeah, I think Aston makes sense, doesn't it? Because you say the connection's there. Big cash. Honda, which Max is now used to. And, yeah, Newey. Most people want to work with Newey, but obviously Max already winning all of his championships in Asia and Newey cars. Red Bull's going to be really interesting next year because if they've not got the pace next year and they don't bounce back in 2026, it could be a few cold years out there for Red Bull.
So just struggling to really push on this dial.
Yeah, Yuki at Aston because Honda. That's a good call. And there is talk, although the Honda sort of Red Bull powertrains is a bit of a weird setup at the moment, but there is talk that Honda were not very happy with Yuki being overlooked for the main Red Bull seat, so you can definitely see Yuki to Aston. I mean, Lawrence Stroll has just got to bite the bullet, or Lance has just got to admit, it's not going to work out in Formula 1 and move him on. Does Lawrence Stroll want to run, a successful championship-winning Formula 1 team, or does he want to just see his son win a championship in Formula 1? If it's the latter, fair enough for him. But if it's the first one, you've got to make the hard decision, your son or not. He's not to the level what you need. Sack off Lance anyways. Yeah. He wouldn't be at any other team, would he? Let's face it. Right, Piastri did get past Tsunoda, and Tsunoda's dropped 3 seconds back, which is a bit disappointing because we want to see Yuki on the podium, but he is on those hard tyres, so maybe he's going to go longer in this first stint. George Russell up to 5th. Hulkenberg, though, in the second RB. Here he comes. On the inside of George Russell.
We will be ready.
Okay, understood.
And he is through into P5. So it's a P4, P5 for RB as it stands. Well, I think Hulkenberg, yeah, I can see the medium tyres there. Leclerc has finally got up to 11th, so he's making his way up to the grid. Ocon doing well in 9th, though, isn't he, in that Williams? We're just having a lonely little race out front at the moment. Let's say, if you're used to watching the streams, we don't tend to skip the action, but we've got a bit of a low period here, so we'll just forward on till we get to lap 18, because that's when Danny Rick's going to be pitting. And of course, if you haven't already, please do like the stream. Really does help me out. But yeah, what can these RBs do? Piastri's been pretty good, hasn't he? Although it's only one race in, but he was very strong in Australia. Got a yellow flag. That's very momentarily. It's just someone running wide. Hamilton lock up. Down to 11th, so Leclerc is past him now.
Things look fine.
This was with Ocon. We just looked at Ocon.
Well, you can see the lockup, and hopefully there's not too much damage to the tyres.
So what has Hamilton done to his tyres? Down to 53%. He's on the hards. That is not good, being on the hard tyre. So I say Ricciardo is probably going to have to be one of the first to pit here. And it's a 25.6. It's a 26-second stop near enough. So Ricciardo is probably going to come out in 15th. So he might have to get through some traffic. So it may not work for Ricciardo in terms of against his teammate Alonso here in this first stint. De Vries is better. I would honestly prefer Sargent to drive instead of Jesus, Lucas. That's bold. Imagine if he took out that McLaren. I know it was close. Lewis was very close to T-boning Lando Norris there. But as I say, let's move up to lap 18. Get Ricciardo in. But yeah, 20. Yeah, he's going to come out in front of Gasly, and he's going to have probably 2 seconds or so to show up the road. But that might. Bottas is 13th. Valtteri is really having a struggle. What is Valtteri on? It's on the mediums, just not working for Valtteri, is it? Right, let's... Next lap. Alonso's caught up here within half a second. Ricciardo's softs have dropped off, you would imagine now. But yeah, Bottas down in 12th. So as yeah, 26 seconds. So Zhou is now 26 points. That's even better for Ricciardo, because he'll now have a nice, probably 4 or 5 second gap to Hamilton. And Hamilton will probably, yeah, will have to probably overtake Hamilton. So yeah, I think Ricciardo's going to come out in 14th and he'll have a nice little gap to work with. And Alonso, who's got the pace on at the moment, will be set free. The AI usually struggle on sprint weekends because they can't get the car into a good setup. Very true, Lucas. Very true. However, this isn't a sprint weekend for us because in the database editor, we have changed the sprints for 2026. And off the top of my head, do not ask me to tell you which ones are sprints now, because I forgot. But I know China is not. We've changed it up for 2026 just to make it a little bit varied in the different seasons, as they typically do in normal Formula 1 as well. Right, Ricciardo is going to be jumping into the pits. Here he comes. So Alonso's released.
Copy.
Here we go. What can the pit crew do here then? 2.3, not bad, not bad.
Focus on reaction time and no full throttle before pit exit.
Don't make any historic races a sprint. I can't actually remember which ones we've done. One historic race we certainly haven't done a sprint at is Monaco. We're actually in front of Hamilton.
And in front of you is Bottas.
So I think that average pit stop time is a little bit out there. Perez has stopped as well in the Williams. A few have stopped actually. This is counting the stops under the red flag actually, so we can't really tell unless we go into the tyre strategy. But Perez definitely one stopping now. Bottas, yeah, a few of these don't need to stop immediately. So Ricciardo's now working up to lap 39. Alonso is around about lap 22. And Piastri 11 seconds off the pace now. So Alonso's got nice clean air. Ricciardo is probably going to have to get past a number of these cars unless they pit a little bit earlier. Bottas and Ocon, to be fair, are getting close to needing to pit stop. But I do think this race today is going to be between Ricciardo and Alonso. And Tsunoda is back past Oscar Piastri, and there we see it. Tsunoda into P2, which will be a net P3. So Yuki still got a big chance of a podium here today.
Tires are in a good place.
As Tsunoda pits, Verstappen pits, Ocon pits. So this is going to make Ricciardo's job a little bit easier. Tsunoda onto the soft tyres then. I think Tsunoda's going to be in a good place because he's overtook Piastri and he's going to get a little bit of an undercut on him here as well. Now Ricciardo all over Bottas, so the world champion from 2025, the man we were battling for a lot of last season. He is really struggling this season, it looks like, though, so far. He's got 37% tyres. This should be easy work.
Overtake available.
And Bottas covers it off. Ricciardo losing a bit of time. Needs to get this done nice and early, and there it is. Superior grip. And Ricciardo is past Valtteri Bottas. And he's up into P8. And he's got 2 seconds till Carlos Sainz, who is on the hard. So Sainz, he probably will need to get past, and perhaps Leclerc as well. So Alonso leads, 12 seconds to Piastri. Russell only 2 seconds back. Hülkenberg half a second behind. Norris a second. So it's still very close between these in the top 10. So it looks like, unless we're going to see anything odd, we should be able to claim a 1-2. We don't know if it's going to be Alonso or Ricciardo winning it. But who else is going to be finishing, well, in the order of that top 10? I have no idea as it stands. Norris pits now. Yuki has got to get past Albon, and he is doing so. Ricciardo gets DRS on Sainz.
Q20 P7.
He's got to try and get past Carlos here.
Hard.
Can't manage it there.
And directly behind you is Bottas. 2.5 ahead.
Here we go. We should have just much better grip. Are we going to try and send it on the outside here? No.
I'll leave it up to you.
Okay.
Ricciardo losing a bit of time now in this traffic. Working better for Alonso, you'd say, at the moment. Because Ricciardo is getting held up.
Don't worry. Overtake available.
Right, using the battery here. That Red Bull is not too bad in a straight line, it seems. DRS, though, it should be job done, you'd have to imagine. We'll use some of the battery. Deploying battery now, and DRS will open shortly, and it should be enough to get this job done. There we go, DRS opens. And we are past Carlos Sainz, so Ricciardo back to P6. And it's time for Fernando Alonso to make his stop at the end of the lap he's on.
So box and confirm, box, pit confirm.
Copy, box.
As you see in a replay of that overtake, pretty easy once the DRS opened. Visibly here, this change in speed. Took a while to shift up to 8th gear, didn't he there, Ricciardo? Right, so Ricciardo P6 is Leclerc boxing no, so he's going to have to do the same here on Leclerc. And then he's got 3 seconds to Hülkenberg. Bottas pits from P8. Here comes Ricciardo on the inside of Leclerc, and that's done. That's a lot quicker. Good work from Ricciardo. As Tsunoda. Tsunoda's flying. He set the fastest lap of the race. Verstappen
Good job.
takes it away from him, though.
Next one is Hülkenberg.
Piastri. So it'll be interesting to see when Piastri stops. What's the difference between him and Yuki? Let's get Fernando in for his stop then. Fernando's gone 4 laps longer than Ricciardo. Obviously, Alonso started on the mediums. Ricciardo started on the softs. As our Team Lotus pit crew wait to receive Fernando Alonso. We're now second up the pit lane, of course, finishing second in the Constructors. There we are, nice and early in the pit lane. 2.5, couple 0.2 slower than Ricciardo. As Piastri pits now. But Ricciardo is going to be quite a bit ahead of Alonso. Ricciardo
So
now on
currently
George
P5.
Russell, so he's got to get past another one.
Car ahead is Leclerc.
Piastri, Tsunoda very much has cleared Piastri, so that's going to be interesting to see how that battle unfolds. Oh, Ricciardo,
Gap behind 5.6.
a lock up there, and that would have been curtains. So Ricciardo's not really been helped getting through this traffic. He's had to overtake quite a few. But he will shortly be back in first, whether he gets past Russell and Hülkenberg or they jump into the pits. He should get Russell here or on the DRS. He's going for it here. He will give DRS to Russell, though. Hopefully Russell doesn't get back past him. It is a long old straight down here with the DRS.
Good job with the targets. Currently P2.
So Ricciardo
Okay, so in front
back to
of you is
P2.
Hülkenberg.
And I don't think Russell's DRS is going to do enough, although he is gaining. Right, he's going to be too far behind. So is Hülkenberg going to jump into the bits, or are we going to have to get past him as well on track? He's going for another lap, it looks like. He is indeed. So Ricciardo needs to get past one more to reclaim the lead of this race. Fernando Alonso, oh, that's nice for him. Leclerc jumps into the bits. Should give him a free helping of DRS, and it does indeed. So tyres, Ricciardo 86% on his mediums, Alonso 95% on softs. Ricciardo's next stop, lap 39. Alonso's lap 36. So very different in terms of stop times. The laps we're stopping on. Tsunoda 5 seconds back, but Tsunoda has now got about 10 seconds on Piastri. And Verstappen's benefited as well from an early stop, it looks like. So, as I say, no idea how this top 10 is going to finish. Ricciardo then, all over Hülkenberg. To reclaim the lead of the race. Back on the inside then, before the DRS, Danny Rick back into the lead of this Chinese Grand Prix.
Very good. And that's currently P1.
And he's got about, what's he got there? He's about 3.2 on his teammate, Fernando Alonso.
Give us a bit more lift off, please.
But Ricciardo, of course, got clean air now. Alonso will be hoping Russell or Hülkenberg jump into the pits. But they've got the tyre life to go for a few more laps if they want to. If they go onto the hards, they could well be one-stopping Russell and Hülkenberg. They've took the mediums to lap 25 now. Nearly halfway through the race, so hards would definitely work for them. As here comes Fernando Alonso. Getting that job done. And Fernando moves into P3, just 2.4 behind his teammate.
Yes.
Yes, Fernando.
Excellent job. You are P3.
He's liking it.
Hülkenberg ahead.
He's enjoying it.
Okay, so gap 1.5.
There's a few more pit stops still going on. And if you're jumping in and you missed it, K-Mag decided to absolutely wreck the races of Fittipaldi and Bortoleto. Massive lock-up into the rear wing of Fittipaldi, and then concertina effect into Bortoleto as well, as Alonso very much getting held up by Nico Hülkenberg there. Here we go. Are we going to go for the move here? No, Fernando doesn't. I don't think Fernando's on aggressive, though. But he will get DRS now. This should be pretty easy work now.
Copy.
Alonso already alongside Nico Hülkenberg. And as soon as that DRS opens, we should out-drag Nico. And there we go, into P2. So normal service resumes. Danny Rick P1, Alonso P2, and it's 3.4 between them.
Let's go.
This is really good.
And it looks like it's just Hülkenberg and Russell in this top 10, and Pourchaire
Yeah, 3.5.
yet to stop. And Hülkenberg and Russell look like they're going round again. So are they going to one-stop here? 30 laps to go. If they put on hards, they could well be one-stopping Hülkenberg and Russell.
No concern on tyre wear.
But Tsunoda's only 3.3 behind Russell, so they're nearly a pit stop behind. And Alonso, we're trying to get to lap 36, so just move on until, unless we get Alonso very close to Ricciardo, then we'll jump back on board, of course. But Tsunoda is looking very good for P3, I would suggest, here today. Which would be nice. I don't think we've seen Yuki on the podium, and I think he's about to get past Russell, so Russell is going to be exactly a net pit stop behind. And there he goes. Yuki Tsunoda. And George is trying to fight it, but George is what now? 35% tyre life on mediums, and Tsunoda on not exactly fresh softs, but on a good set of softs, we can say. Hülkenberg and Russell go again. Long stint, isn't it, this, for... Because when was that red flag? So yeah, Hülkenberg did change his tyres. So he changed his tyres under the red flag. So did Russell. So they both went to mediums under the red flag. Max has gone medium soft softs. Yuki's gone hard softs. So Yuki probably is going to finish on either another set of softs or mediums, you'd imagine. But Ricciardo leads 1.8 now to Alonso. And it's Hülkenberg in third, but he's got his teammate who's already stopped behind him. So you'd think there'd be some team orders. Hülkenberg to get out of the way of Yuki, but it doesn't look like that's happening. But Yuki is shortly going to be clear in P3. And it's looking very good. Very good indeed for Yuki Tsunoda. As he should, I imagine, get past pretty comfortably on the DRS here. You don't think the game... I've never seen the AI use team orders, which is a shame. Be nice if they implemented that. But Yuki should find his way back to P3 now. And as I say, he was battling Oscar, but Oscar's lost out in that first round of pit stops. Bogged down in 7th now. His tyre life is better than Tsunoda, though, so he might overcut and go longer. As Hülkenberg finally does stop, is Russell going to join him? He does. So the last two in the top 10 to stop are finally stopping. Where are they actually going to come out here?
How is this tyre?
Let's see where they come out. Hülkenberg 11th, Russell 12th, but they're not too... If they're one-stopping, I think they are going to one-stop. They're on hard, so they could be two to watch there, Hülkenberg and Russell. I think they're going to go to the end now. So very interesting. And Alonso is getting very interested in his teammate. He's going to get a nice tow here.
You are doing a good job managing all your tyres.
Not quite got DRS, but he should get a nice tow. And I think probably next lap he's going to be into the DRS of his teammate, Daniel Ricciardo. No team orders, of course. No papaya rules over here. And there we go. It's under a second. Can he keep it under a second as we get on to the start-finish straight? Or the second helping of DRS? And just a reminder, Ricciardo stops on lap 39 and Alonso going to stop on lap 36. But Alonso looking quicker at this phase of the race, but he is on the soft tyres, of course. They will both be on the mediums at the end, and Ricciardo will have a slight tyre advantage. So really, if Alonso's to win this race, he probably wants to be getting past Danny Ric and building a little bit of a gap here. But is it going to happen?
Out the tyres.
Nice, very good.
Alonso very much in the dirty air of his teammate, but he's going around the outside as Fernando was not expecting a move here. Fernando on Danny Ric then. They're side by side. Daniel Ricciardo doesn't want to give it up, but Fernando Alonso is through. But Ricciardo will get the benefit of this tow, and he's then going to get DRS. So I'm not sure Fernando's going to maintain this position as we head through to this DRS zone and a very, very long straight here in China. Ricciardo's going to have a massive benefit here of the tow plus DRS. I don't think Alonso's going to be able to do much of that. Alonso probably would have been better staying behind him until he got to this DRS zone. So Daniel Ricciardo says, thank you very much. I'm going to have that position back, although Alonso is still alongside. And he's trying to outbrake him. Brakes later, does Fernando. But Ricciardo back through then into P1. But Alonso will now get the DRS on the start-finish rate. Much harder DRS to overtake on than that first one, but it's still doable. He's 4 attempts behind now.
Gap 0.4.
2 attempts, this could be close. Ricciardo covers the inside. Alonso, though, squeeze back through. So Fernando back through. And now he's got a chance for the rest of this lap to build enough of a gap to break that DRS on his teammate. So Alonso hoping now with this overtake that he can maintain it. And as I say, for him to win this race, he probably does need to build a gap because he's going to stop earlier. And Ricciardo will have a tyre advantage at the end. So Alonso P1, Ricciardo P2. Tsunoda is in P3, but 11 seconds back. And if you're jumping into the streams and you haven't already, please do smash that like button. It really does help me out. And I do really, really appreciate it. So Hulkenberg and Russell, as I say, we think they're going to the end. So what do we say that pit loss is here? It's 25 seconds. So Hulkenberg, when all of these stops, him and Russell will probably be promoted to P4 and 5. Whether they can hold on to it with those on fresh tyres behind them. I think it's going to be quite interesting behind us at the end of this race. And it's going to be interesting between our two teammates. As I say, Alonso now to lap 36. He's got a little bit of surplus fuel he can use.
For info, we are not fuel limited. We are not fuel limited.
And Ricciardo's not going away. He's 1.2 behind. But we're just, as there's not much track action, we'll just sort of forward on till we get to lap 36, which will be Fernando's second stop. And then we shall see where we lie at that point.
Lift off at this stage.
Piastri now 2.3 behind Max, but Max is 5.3 behind Tsunoda. So what's that? 7.6 Piastri's behind Yuki. Has got a 7% tyre margin though, so
P1.
Piastri against Yuki may not be over either.
2.3.
That's quite tasty, the battles in the rest of the top 10. But let's move on then so we get to lap 36. Get Fernando in. And then we're going to see quite a few more pit stops up and down the grid here. Ricciardo's fell 2.5 seconds behind at this point. Verstappen's probably going to have to stop next. He's probably going to be the first driver in for his second stop. And we're going to be stopping in 4 laps' time. But yeah, the car looking very dominant here. They ended our pit window, but we don't really want to stop until lap 36. Got 61% tyre margin. He's got 3 seconds on his teammate Danny Ric here, as Alonso. But Daniel Ricciardo, we may now reach the crossover, where the mediums may become a little bit quicker than the softs. Kinga, I've missed a bit of F1 Manager. Is V-Card really good this season? Yes, Kinga. RB are looking like they might be the second or third fastest car on the grid at this point. Only the second race of the season, so there will be upgrade packages to come, I'm sure, for the rest of the teams. But RB looking very handy indeed. As you say, Hulkenberg is going for a one-stopper, and for the stop, he will be promoted to P4, so it could be a P3, P4 for RB at the end of this race. Right, so lap 36, then we'll jump back on board, but there's nothing really going on track at the moment. And Ricciardo still about 3 seconds. It is extending closer to 4, so the soft's still working for Fernando at the moment. Piastri is now very close to Verstappen, P4 for P5, so it looks like Piastri will clear Verstappen, and then he'll be trying to hunt down Tsunoda. So as I say, Piastri against Tsunoda definitely isn't over yet. Yeah, it is now 4 seconds between Alonso and Ricciardo. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all pans out at the end of the race. Verstappen stops now, so as I say, he did have to come in pretty early. That Red Bull team. And they're not number 1 in the pit lane. They're quite far down now, being Red Bull. Finished 5th last year. And Max is going on the hard tyres till the end then. But this should be the first of the cars Hulkenberg jumps. So Max will have fresher hards, 17%. But he's going to be quite a bit behind. Bottas is having a stinker. He's got to pit again in a minute. Bottas may not score points here. The reigning world champion. And it's a bit like what we saw with Max last year. Looks like the reigning world champions may be cursed in this game. Right, next lap then for Fernando Alonso. Oh no, and we're approaching Liam Lawson. We won't lap him quite yet, but we might do after these second round of stops. So Alonso... Actually, I think Alonso could probably go one more, to be fair.
Okay, copy, box.
He's managed those tyres quite well. So yeah, next lap will be in, as Carlos Sainz setting the fastest lap. He's in 4th, his teammate currently down in 12th. That Bottas pit stop is now happening, so where is Bottas going to come out? As I say, he's having an absolute stinker here. He's going on the hards as well. So that's another one Hulkenberg and Russell have jumped. Well, I think they might have already been ahead of him, were they? Can't remember now without looking. Bottas. What has happened to Bottas in that Merc? Out in P17. Out of 19 runners is Bottas. Wow. And that Mercedes, I still think is, at the moment, they haven't started the season too well, but they're probably still around about the 4th fastest car on the grid, so... yeah, Bottas just not getting on with it. Maybe he partied too hard celebrating that World Championship, and now he's won the World Championship. He's got no motivation or desire to push himself anymore. Because he is absolutely struggling here. Right, Alonso's in at the end of this lap. Tsunoda pits again now. So that's quite early. So, Tsunoda lap 37. Let's remember that, chat. Or we can look, of course, on the tyres. But I wonder how longer Piastri goes. But we've nearly got a pit stop now. Pit stop gap to Sainz near enough. Because Tsunoda's already stopped. But here comes Alonso. So it was 6 seconds to Ricciardo in the end. But Ricciardo can go for a bit of an attack phase now.
Push.
Yep, understood.
What can the pit crew do then? We've been around 2.3 to 2.5 so far.
Okay.
2.4, not too bad. Oscar, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Hope you're doing well, buddy. So, Alonso probably going to come out behind Sainz, is he here? No, I think we might be ahead. Yeah. That average pit stop time is off then, isn't it?
Currently P2.
So, we're clear of Sainz, so that's easy work for Alonso. He's got clean air, so he's just pushing now. And Ricciardo is going to push now till lap 42.
Gap at 4.9.
Piastri stopped, so he only went one more lap than Tsunoda. Tsunoda's onto the mediums. What is Piastri? Hards on Piastri. That could well be advantage to Yuki Tsunoda then. And Hulkenberg up to 6th. Tsunoda's ahead of Russell, which is crucial for him. He should be past Hulkenberg, you'd imagine. But yeah, these RBs are going to have a very good finish today, aren't they? Right, it's 18.5, Ricciardo to Alonso. Let's forward on to lap 42 then. to get to Ricciardo's stop. And we should see the grid bunch up a little bit again in a moment. Dave Edge, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated, buddy. Hope you're doing well. As Hamilton is stopping. I have no idea, as I say, how this top 10 is going to shape out at the end of the race, but I do feel RB are going to be somewhere between 3rd and 5th, maybe with both cars. Be nice to see. Right, couple more laps, then we'll get Ricciardo in, then we'll jump back on board. As I say, not much happening on track at the moment. Ricciardo won last time out in Melbourne, of course, so can he make it 2 in a row, or is Fernando going to convert P2 to P1? Melbourne, he got P2. Can he make it P1 here in China? The gap is down to 14.6, so he's took 4 seconds out of Ricciardo. Ricciardo needs to be in this lap. We've actually abused his tyres a bit too much there.
Box, 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 box.
Norris is stopping for Lando's Norris stopping for Norris. Lando Norris is stopping for McLaren. Beast Beats, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So Norris and Leclerc are in as well. So Hulkenberg again going up the order. Is Russell jumping these as well? He is. So this one stopper is going to be interesting, but Hulkenberg already down to 68%. There is still 25 laps to go, so that's not looking too good at the moment. We'll see. All right, Ricciardo. Push these tyres a little bit too hard. Hopefully we don't get a puncture. We are close to the end of this lap, though. And here he goes. He's going to get back into the pits. Here we go, then. Hopefully, this should be Ricciardo's second and final stop of the day. Fernando Alonso is going to take the lead of the race. But Ricciardo's going to have a tight advantage at the end of at least 12%. Might tick over to 13. 2.5. Not the fastest of stops. There goes Fernando. So it is a 12% tyre advantage to Ricciardo. But the gap is looking pretty big here, isn't it? And Ricciardo is going to clear Carlos Sainz as well. 13 seconds. Wow. Alonso pitting earlier seems to have done the business there. That's a lot of time for Daniel Ricciardo to find in 15 laps. As I say, he has got 12% tyre margin, so
15 laps
let's wait and see.
Car's off.
Teo Porcher's had a
Now
spin.
with the Haas. Whoa, and
Struggling at the back of the grid.
And that certainly wouldn't have been in their plans today.
And not great for Teo there. He's recently stopped and down 71%, so not great for him. What are we doing in terms of traffic anyway? Alonso, he's coming up to Teo Porcher. And probably he'll lap a couple of these when they stop. So we are going to come up to lap a few cars, which might close the gap between Alonso and Ricciardo. Let's get Ricciardo to attack a bit. Get the tyres up to 10.
Now.
Okay, cheers.
Right, let me know in the chat. I'm going to show you the current tyre life. So this is the current intervals. I want to know what your podium's going to be. We've got 15 laps to go. How is this one going to finish in terms of the podium? There's your tyre life. So Sainz currently in third, about 35%. Then we've got Tsunoda on the mediums, 80%. Hulkenberg, 65% hards. Russell, 67%. Piastri, 85% hards. And so on. Let me know in the chat what is going to be the podium and the finishing order in the top 3. Or if you're feeling bold, go for a top 5 or top 10. Right, Ricciardo, we're getting his tyres up to temperature. And then probably close to the end, actually, Ricciardo could go on an aggressive push. So he probably will be able to close this gap. Not Fernando. Let's have a look. Yeah, he can go aggressive straight away, to be fair. So Ricciardo can stay on aggressive, so he should be quicker. Ricciardo should be quicker than Fernando, so we'll see. At Chris's speed, Alonso, Ricciardo, Tsunoda. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty safe bet. Piastri is, what, 9 seconds behind Tsunoda. Yeah. I think he's got Piastri covered off, but depends. I think that's the only risk to Tsunoda is Piastri now. And then Alonso looks... yeah, pretty strong bet for the win. But of course, Ricciardo, we can be aggressive on his tyres, whereas Alonso, we can't now. So let's wait and see.
So, lift off.
Copy.
Bottas is, well, he's up to 12th now at least. Hard tyres. Ocon is going to pit. Though Bottas might still have an outside chance of getting some points. But still a big drop-off from where he was last year. And Ricciardo setting the fastest lap of the race. So here comes Ricciardo's pace.
Okay, understood.
Alright, Alonso. And he's got Teo Porcher still up the road. Not really gaining on him massively. Sainz still hasn't stopped. Down at 30%. You'd think he'd be coming in pretty soon. As Leclerc sets the fast lap of the race, so he takes that off Danny Rick. Ocon pit, so Bottas now up to 11th. He's got Hamilton behind him. So yeah, Sainz surely is going to pit at the end of this lap, you'd imagine. Let's look at the last lap. So yeah, Danny Rick about 6/10 of a second quicker. Half a second, let's call it. 13 laps to go. It wouldn't be enough. He'd half the deficit. He needs to be going about a second a lap quicker than his teammate at this rate. So Alonso is looking pretty handy for the win. But is Carlos Sainz going to pit now? You'd have to imagine he is. And where is he going to filter back out? Yuki Tsunoda has got a real good chance here of getting on that podium, hasn't he? I want to see it. I want to see Yuki on the podium. Right, does Sainz pit? 28%. Surely he is. He is. Carlos Sainz is in. So where is Carlos Sainz going to come out? Tsunoda jumps back onto the podium then. Tires at 76%. Looking real good is Yuki. As the Red Bull team wait to receive Carlos Sainz. He's going on some nice fresh softs. All the way to the end now then. Lando Norris now takes the fastest lap off Leclerc. And Sainz is going to come out in P10. A lot of clean air there. How far can he go? He's got 20% tyre margin on Norris and Leclerc. And he's 3 seconds behind Leclerc, 6 behind Norris. So, and not too far behind Russell and Verstappen. So Sainz could climb a bit here in the final stages. Let's just look at Hulkenberg. So Hulkenberg's hard's down to 58%. Piastri is going to get Hulkenberg because he's there. He's half a second behind. So Piastri will clear Hulkenberg, but it's 8.5 seconds up the road to Yuki Tsunoda. So that looks to be a long way away. Verstappen is there. I think Hulkenberg might end up finishing about P6 here, but that'd still be a pretty good result for RB. Sam, top 3 probably will stay as they are. Yeah, it's looking that way, isn't it, at the moment? The only way that may change is if Piastri clears Hulkenberg here. How much pace is he going to have over Tsunoda? He's on the hard tyres, so he could go attacking on those. But here he goes on the inside then of Hulkenberg. And Piastri is through into P4. And I think Verstappen is going to be smelling some of that as well. It's got good tyre advantage. So I think Verstappen will make his way past Hulkenberg as well. Lando's not too far behind, but those softs are going to wear off a lot quicker, whereas Piastri and Verstappen are on the same tyre as Hulkenberg. So Hulkenberg might be able to fend off the rest for P6, but I think Verstappen is going to be after him pretty shortly. It's 9.2 then to Yuki Tsunoda, Piastri to Tsunoda. And Ricciardo just not making any inroads on Fernando Alonso, is he? It stayed at 13 seconds, so it looks like Fernando has just had better pace and has covered him off here today. And in fact, Fernando's going quicker, although he's on standard pace. Ricciardo maybe just needs to cool off those tyres a bit.
Okay, maximum focus on cooling down those rear tyres.
Okay.
As Albon pits from P14, Albon now in the Aston Martin. Aston Martin not started the season with great pace though, especially not in the hands of K-Mag, who torpedoed into Fittipaldi and Bortoletto. And if you haven't already, please do like the stream. Really does help me out, as I say. Really do appreciate it. Helps to push the channel out to a wider audience. So please smash the like button. As we've got 10 laps to go. Sam, maybe try to get the fastest lap. Will be a struggle on the mediums, though. Yes. As Verstappen is past Hülkenberg there, as we saw just behind Piastri. Yeah. I'll tell you what I might do is give them both an attempt on the same lap.
Gotcha.
That would be fair. Fair to do. Ricciardo could do with building up a little bit of surplus fuel. I think we can conserve Ricciardo. Just get a bit of fuel back, then we'll push, because he's not going to close that gap in 10 laps.
Understood.
So Ricciardo's got to settle for P2. Piastri not closing that gap, is he, to Tsunoda, which is nice. Tsunoda looks like he's going to claim a podium, which would be nice to see someone else on the podium. Hülkenberg, as I say, I was thinking, can he fend off Norris, but I don't know. It's not looking good now for Hülkenberg. Russell's close to Norris as well. There's Hülkenberg, Norris, and then Russell. Leclerc and Sainz not too far behind. Sainz now within DRS Leclerc, so we said look out for Sainz, who's got the best tyre life now in the top 10. So Sainz currently P10, but he could get as high as P6 here. Right, next lap, then we'll go for a push with both drivers. Actually, where's Ricciardo? Have we got any traffic? And Ricciardo shouldn't reach that traffic. Yeah, we'll go for a fastest lap attempt on this next lap with both drivers. That's fair. And see who can pull it out of the bag. As I say, we've had some soft runners who have gone for it. Alonso.
Just push, please.
Copy.
Push now on the tyres.
Understood.
Right, here we go then. Alonso against Danny Rick for the fastest lap, if possible. Let's see what we do.
Out the tyres.
Still okay?
Let's see what this first sector time is going to be. Alonso does go purple. There's 24.635. What can Ricciardo do in return? Is he going to go purple? He is. 24.3. 3 tenths quicker. So Daniel Ricciardo may be in P2, but he's winning this fastest lap battle here. Let's see what we get for the second sector. Danny Rick obviously would lose 7 points on Alonso, but he'd reduce that to 6 if he gets the fastest lap. It is a 28.4 for Alonso. 28.2, so Danny Rick is at least half a second up here, so it looks to be in the bag for Danny Rick for this fastest lap. Alonso. A few more corners, couple more corners to navigate. He will take the fastest lap. Momentarily, I think. But then it's going to go to his teammate, Danny Rick. So here he comes, Fernando Alonso. Across the line at 134.3. So he goes quicker for now. But Danny Rick, I think, is about to smash that out of the water. And there we go.
That was a very good lap.
A 133.9, so 4 tenths quicker for Danny Rick. He takes the fastest lap. And our driver's having a little bit of fun there.
Cool the tyres.
In the closing stages.
We need a little bit more lift off if you can, please. We need a little bit more.
Tyre life is going to be absolutely fine for both of those. Yep. Verstappen is past Oscar Piastri. Was not expecting that. Verstappen showing some pace in that Red Bull. Norris and Sainz past Hulkenberg, though. Oh, Hulkenberg is going backwards, isn't he? He's really struggling now. That one stop is not working. Leclerc wants a bit of him as well. From the outside juice to the inside, Charles Leclerc is past Hulkenberg. So the one stoppers, Hulkenberg and Russell, now find themselves in P9, P10. Hamilton's a long way off, so is Bottas. So they will at least finish in the points. But Tsunoda is very much looking like he's got that covered in P3. It's really now a battle for P4, isn't it? There's 1.7, 2.2, 2.5 seconds between Verstappen in 4th and Sainz in 7th. Sainz looking really good on the tyre life, though. And we've just got to get our drivers home then with 5 laps to go. Let's just forward on and see how Sainz's battle works out. Chris, what's the current team's championship looking like? We've literally only done one race in this second season, and we got a 1-2 in Melbourne. So we are, of course, in first. And in truth, I can't remember the rest of the constructors, but we will have a look at that very shortly. Once this race wraps up, we'll have a look at the constructors' leaderboard. It roll, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Sainz up to 7th then, behind Lando Norris. But it's weird because the teams behind us have made a step and have closed the gap on us in terms of performance. But we've dominated more than we did in Australia. No, we've got a massive gap to Tsunoda there, 25 seconds, 26, and that's to Ricciardo. He's nearly 40 seconds off the lead. As I said in the opening of this stream, and if you missed it, we are working towards updating the AI's development, so they will close the gap on us. So I don't want to be winning races 1-2 by quite a margin like this all the time. It's not a fun experience for me, so we want it challenging. So, yeah, we've got information on that coming out on the next YouTube episode. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching on TikTok or Twitch, head to my profile, and in my profile in the bio, you will see a YouTube link. Head over to there and you'll see all of this Team Lotus series and all the latest episodes there. Right, 3 laps to go then. And what battles have we got here in the closing stages then? 2 laps as Alonso crosses the line. Fuel is absolutely fine here. We don't really need to do anything mad on that.
Stop the lift off, please.
Right, Ricciardo's 12 seconds back, so it's going to be a 1-2 unless something dramatic happens. Verstappen is closed within 8 seconds of Tsunoda, but Yuki Tsunoda looks like he is going to get on the podium here. Verstappen has got 2 seconds to Piastri. Sainz has cleared Norris now, so he's up to P7. Sainz looking good for P5 here. Red Bull coming alive in the closing stages here. Can Carlos Sainz get it done here? He's on softs. Piastri on hards. Look like it's going to be all said and done, and Carlos Sainz is into P5. So Red Bull kind of nowhere in this race. I look like they're going to secure a P4, P5 finish here. And everyone's going to be okay on tyre life. Doesn't look like anyone's at risk of punctures here towards the end. No, they are not. Can Sainz get Max Verstappen here, though? 1.2. He's got better tyre margin. 2 steps softer on the compound. Carlos Sainz surely looking good here to overtake his teammate Max Verstappen and take 4th place off him. And he is about, after this next straight, going to get DRS as Fernando Alonso has started the final lap of this Chinese Grand Prix. Here comes Carlos Sainz then, as he is about to get slipstream and he's about to open up his rear wing on Max Verstappen. He's already gaining on him before the DRS, although Max gets good exit there. Here we go with Carlos then gaining. DRS is now open. We can see it. We can see the gap closing. Carlos Sainz looked at the outside. Max covers it off though, and ooh, that's very slow. Max, you're not brake testing out there, are you? That was very slow into that corner, wasn't it? Can Carlos Sainz get it done on this straight? It's harder to do, but he's pulled out nice and early. Got the DRS. Max can't close that off now. Although Max, who knows, can do anything he likes really. But Carlos Sainz is through on his teammate. That's been a good stint for Carlos Sainz. We said look out for him. Went longer in the middle stint. Plenty of tyre life. And Carlos Sainz looks like he is going to finish in P4. But in truth, it has been absolute domination from ourselves in Team Lotus. Last year, we stopped designing our car from race 6 in Miami and we went full on research. We've done so much research and that's what's given us this car for 2026. Alonso is going to win this race, 11 seconds from his teammate, but over 40 seconds from anyone else. Fernando Alonso, his first win for Team Lotus. And his first win as a 44-year-old Fernando Alonso. He wins it in China. Danny Ric is going to take the fastest lap. And he is going to take P2. It's consecutive 1-2 finishes for Team Lotus. Danny Ric just didn't have the pace on Alonso in that middle stint. And has to settle for P2. So he won the opener. And Alonso finished P2. And they reversed the order here in China. So it could be a very tasty championship battle between our two drivers. But as I say, we will be helping to develop the AI through the database editor. So they are going to get closer to us and hopefully challenge us for victories very soon. But what a result this is. The Yuki Tsunoda, who claims P3, the RB, has been developed very well for 2026. He had a great result in Australia, but it's P3 for Yuki in China. And he is going to be on the podium with the dominant Team Lotus. Versus speed, dominant drive. It was indeed. It was indeed.
Fernando Alonso today, showing everyone just how it's done.
And here's the old boy, the old man, Fernando. He's still got it. He's still got it.
The driver included, of course.
The team has been waiting patiently there, and you can see just how much it means to each
Fernando has done it. You've got to smash a like if you haven't already to support Fernando Alonso. Here he is. Oh, he's happy. He's shaking hands with Danny Ric. But look at this man. What a joy it is to see Yuki Tsunoda there, beating both the Red Bulls.
Up there on the podium together.
The A team to their B team. Yuki beats both Max and Sainz. But here we go. Team Lotus. Dominant here in China. And we're looking good for a championship run here in 2026. Brilliant McLaren 1990s-esque. Yes, indeed. Yes, it was very dominant. Oh, the McLarens in the 90s. Very nice indeed. Would love to see those liveries brought back, but they're very much into their original papaya days at the moment. But yeah, a red and white livery. Wouldn't say no to it. Here we go then, full classification. As we've seen here, Fernando Alonso wins it and Daniel Ricciardo P2 takes the extra point for the fastest lap and they swap positions. Danny Ric did start on pole, finishes P2. Alonso started P2, finishes P1. Yuki Tsunoda did qualify P4, but he goes up one place and he claims his first podium here in Formula 1 and 15 points. Carlos, look at these Red Bulls. We said they had, they snuck up, didn't they? Out of nowhere. And Carlos Sainz up 6 places to 4th and Max Verstappen up 7 places to 5th. So obviously didn't have the qualifying pace, but they certainly had the race pace, the Red Bulls. McLarens have to settle for 6th and 7th with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris respectively. Then Leclerc, really good drive from him actually, up 9. He was knocked out in Q1. I think he might have got some traffic and up 9 places to finish 8th. George Russell and Hülkenberg, they went for that one stop and they started to go backwards. Russell down 4 places, finishes 9th. Hülkenberg down 2, but does claim another point for RB in 10th. And some big names not scoring points. Valtteri Bottas, one of them, the reigning world champion in this series, doesn't score any points in 11th. And Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari 12th. And no real other surprises. And as we saw very early on, K-Mag absolutely torpedoing into Enzo Fittipaldi, who in turn, concertina effect, went into the back of Bortoletto. So all 3 of those retired in the first 5 laps of the race. Drivers' Championship, what does that look like? Well, it looks very tight. Daniel Ricciardo, by virtue of that bonus point today, leads the Drivers' Championship by 1 point, but it's very early days, so it's 44 points to Ricciardo. Alonso 43 in P2. Yuki Tsunoda is in P3 there, so he's now in 3rd place on 27 points. Oscar Piastri drops back 1 in 4th. Then we've got Carlos Sainz in 5th. Leclerc in 6th. Max Verstappen jumps 4 places up to 7th. Lando Norris 8th. Bottas, as I say, the reigning world champion, is in 9th. And Lewis Hamilton 10th. And rest of the point scorers, Russell in 11th. Perez in 12th. And Hulkenberg in 13th. What's nice to see is this is only the second race of 2026 and we've had 13 point scorers. I think for the first 5, 6 or 7 races in 2025, we only had the same 10 or 11 drivers scoring points. So definitely the grid is a little bit more mixed up and a little bit closer. So that's good to see. But Bottas is already 38 points off the championship lead after 2 races. So not looking good for Mercedes and not looking good for Bottas to try and reclaim that driver championship. And actually, George Russell has only scored 2 points. So they're on 8 points after 2 races. So Mercedes have not nailed these 2026 regulations. Constructors, so it's very nice reading for us, isn't it? 87 points. But as I keep saying, we are going to hopefully, well, I'm confident because I've already tested it, we are going to be doing some work to help these AI teams develop their car. So it's going to get tighter, it's going to get closer, and it's going to be more of a challenge for us, and that's exactly what we want. But at the moment, 87 points in the lead. Red Bull jump up 3 places. Really good result with Sainz and Verstappen 4th and 5th. So they're on 32 points. McLaren 1 point back on 31. RB a couple more points back on 28. And then we've got Ferrari on 16. Mercedes, as we've said, just on 8 points. And Williams on 2. Aston Martin, what is now Audi, Alpine and Haas are yet to score. Fastest pit stops, did we do anything today? We got 2 points, so we'll take that. And 8th, I believe that's where we finished last year, was 8th. Batman, hey buddy, how's it going? Hope you're well. Yeah, I think we finished 8th last year in this, so we're hoping to improve upon that. And I think we will. We've got the pit stop time down. And yeah, we're hoping to get closer into that sort of 2.2, 2.1 range, which will score us more points, of course. So if we would have got a 2.2 today, we would have at least got 10 or 12 points. So that's what we're working on. And there we go. We hit our targets today. 3rd or higher for Alonso, 6th or higher for Ricciardo. He gets his contract bonus taken out of that. Batman, will there be any more races? Not tonight, buddy, but we will be back on Tuesday. So Tuesday from around about 7 PM. So if you're looking to continue these live streams, jump back in on Tuesday, Batman. Why does Alonso look like that in the suit? Don't ask me. Spanish mapper. He doesn't look too great in the game, to be fair, does Fernando. But he does pretty well on track for us, as he just won that Chinese Grand Prix. Right, I'll try to. No worries, Batman. But yeah, as I say, we will be back on Tuesday. If you've jumped in for the very first time, we stream this every Tuesday and Friday from 7 PM GMT. So if you want to check out the next live stream, please check me out then. As I say, you can catch me on TikTok, Twitch and YouTube, but the main channel is YouTube, as we also have the highlighted episodes and the whole series on YouTube. Spanish Mapper, thanks for the follow, buddy. Much appreciated. So as I say, if you've watched on TikTok and Twitch, head to my profile and in my bio, click on the YouTube link. Head over there to subscribe, and then if you want to be notified, you'll know when we're going live, but also be able to view all of the episodes of this series. So we'll have the next one out in a couple of days in terms of the episode, and then we'll be back on Tuesday, and that will be where we take on the Japanese Grand Prix. If you haven't already, before I go, if you can, smash that like button, really does help me out. If you haven't already and you want to keep up to date, as I say, please do follow and subscribe to the channel. But thanks to everyone again for getting involved. Thanks for all the support, all the chat, all the comments, and we'll be back on Tuesday as we continue.